to the channel, and I'll be continuing this video of this topic, why I'm awake and some of the people or all the people around me are not awake or asleep, whatever term you prefer. And I suggest, if you're watching this video without having watched the other previous two, part 1, part 2 in this series, watching those videos first to get an overview of what I'm referring to, because ultimately this consciousness in Svadhisthana, the challenge of Svadhisthana, is what will other people think of me and will I fit in, and what is the general consensus, the consensus reality, the general norm in terms of belief systems, way of living, values, all these sorts of things, which really keep people locked in this compressed reality, if we can use that term, to keep them ignorant of what's happening in the bigger picture, simply because people with a consciousness at this level do not have the eyes to see. And it's very unhelpful to come from a place of judgment or criticism for people in that particular situation, because things can change in time. And it's important to recognize that you can't force someone to wake up. You're not responsible for someone else's awakening, for someone else's evolution. And this is important to acknowledge. And the best thing we can do is support people who are on the journey of awakening and encourage them and have compassion. Criticism and judgment doesn't help anyone grow. It doesn't help anyone transform. And we also have to understand that not everybody is going to take the red pill. Not everybody is going to wake up. Not everybody is going to understand what's happening at a planetary level. And that's just the way it is. My own personal view is that everyone on this planet who is here at this time has the potential for this true awakening, this evolutionary leap that we are living through, this profound time, this profound period. But at the same time, not everyone will see that. And it's at a deeper level, it's a soul journey. And this is at the deepest level. Although the chakras and the energetic structure is reflected by the soul is the essence of what's determining our energetic body, the activation or not unactivation of the chakras. And this soul awakening is really what is determining the significance of the awakening process itself, because everyone will have a unique path, a unique journey through this time. And really the soul agreements or the karma or the evolution of the soul, whatever term you want to use, will define simply at its most elemental level whether a person will wake up or not. Of course, things aren't completely mathematical with certain groups of the population, but the reality is that everyone has the potential, because they are here on this planet at this time of sacred awakening. So this is important to understand, that at the deepest level of all, it's a soul journey, and this is really tied into the destiny, what someone has chosen for their destiny or is compelled through karma to experience through their destiny. And there is no stopping the destiny in this way. It is inevitable. And for that reason, we can take solace that our awakening process is guided by deeper forces than simply the conscious mind. There is a lot more going on in regard to the soul and the other forces of the universe to help support us during this journey of awakening. Now, what I have said previously on the video, you may be thinking that the consciousness in Manipura chakra is, a wonderful place to be. And it's true, there are many wonderful aspects that the consciousness in Manipura chakra generates. However, it's not black or white in this way, because at the level of Manipura chakra, there's also the negative aspect, which is emotions such as anger, frustration, even forms of hate, tyranny, and resentment, these types of emotions. So it's important to understand that at the lower three chakras, they all have their potential challenges, or their negative parts, or their downside, or the parts that we need to purify and transform in our process of awakening. So the point here is not to avoid these lower states, but actually to integrate them, to integrate the shadow, to work with these points and to actually become more harmonized at this way. So the chakras themselves at this level are not necessarily bad, but they do have the potential to cause us significant challenges in our day-to-day life, and also the level of harmony that we experience, the level of inner peace, all these sorts of things. So we can really consider that any negativity that we experience in terms of our consciousness is in the lower three chakras as expressed in the energetic body. Once we get to the level of the heart, then we are and above, we are in a state of more positivity and higher states of consciousness. We'll just leave that for this video. There's a lot more to this story with the chakras. They are very complex, and there is a lot of different aspects to consider. But from a general perspective, if we look at that from the point of view that Manipura chakra is not some sort of heaven in this way, it can actually be a place of extreme violence and tyranny and all these sorts of things, which also characterize the abusive power which we see continually on the planet at this time. But understand that the people who are their consciousness on Manipura, they don't live in the prison of what other people think of them, which is really the downside to the consciousness in Svadhisthana, that people in Svadhisthana are very, very concerned what others think about them. There is a complete focus on the collective and fitting in with the collective, whereas Manipura chakra people they're much more have this independence in this way and have this autonomy, this sovereignty. And this is one of the qualities that people refer to often in the awakening community, is sovereignty, is autonomy. It's a direct expression of Manipura chakra, very beautiful ideas. But people on Svadhisthana, that's a very, very big leap to get to, because people on Svadhisthana like to feel safe, and the whole expression safety in numbers is really highlights this consciousness, which means it's hard to step outside the box and think for yourself and evaluate things for yourself and live life on your own terms, which of course people on Manipura chakra are much more able to do, because they have the innate gifts for this, the innate talents. And that's why it is not helpful to judge people on Svadhisthana or to criticize people for the confusion on Svadhisthana, because that's what that consciousness is. And we need to take that on board and work with those circumstances, particularly as we move forward into the next decade. This decade of the 20s, 2020 onwards, it's not really relevant for the Gregorian calendar. There's a number of astrological configurations supporting this, but just the general cosmic timetable that we're on will be mass awakening in the next decade. But it appears to me at this stage it will be mass awakening because of a lot of suffering in various forms. So we're entering a very challenging time. It's been a very challenging decade that we're closing out now for many people, but this will continue at different levels, and it will be a unique journey ultimately through this. But know that the awakening process in 2020 will see a lot more people come online and a lot more people getting this wake-up call, because the collective is shifting. And as I expressed in the previous videos, that when the collective shifts, then a new set of values, a new set of beliefs, a new way of living is integrated. And this is the upside of Svadhisthana chakra, is it is collective, and the collective consciousness is shifting on the planet. It's already occurring, and we need this critical mass for it to shift even more. This critical mass that this will in essence tip the scales, and we'll see a much more external this being affected much more externally with a lot of the different things. So this pivotal moment will see a lot of things change, but it really is defining reasons that I've expressed so far as where people are at on their journey with the soul journey, the soul integration, really the purpose of incarnation, which is going way beyond just having a career or enjoying traveling or whatever it is you're doing with your life. There's much more to it than that, and the soul will basically be having an agenda that's different to the ego, which we'll see playing out more and more obviously, more externally orientated moving into the next decade. So there's a lot more to come, and this topic is a complex one, obviously. So I hope that that's framework of information I've given you has something for you to work with and embody and integrate. But understand that we are on the precipice of major shift occurring, and at the lower levels, as I refer to it, particularly in terms of activism at a planetary level, political activism, social activism, environmental activism, and also activism around the distribution of resources in terms of income equality, these sorts of issues, it's going to be quite fascinating and quite an amazing journey to be a part of, to participate in, to experience, and also to contribute to. So I hope you got something out of this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video, and if you feel called, you're always welcome to like, share and subscribe. Bye for now.